students. Uh, Today let's discuss the previously asked question from the chapter semiconductor devices, and also here as we have done in the other chapters, and this is the last chapter of your RT and also last chapter of your 12th also. So here after this I think you will be fully prepared for your board examinations now, as you have just attempt 3 RTs here and now you are going to attempt third pre-board. So I think students, you are ready now, and let's discuss again as we are doing in every chapter. In starting we are I'm just taking here the theoretical question, derivative question, conceptual question. After that we discuss the numerical question based on that. Clear? So here in this chapter the theoretical questions are very important than the numerical questions. So that's why you must have to understand all the concept on all the question that is asked here. So here number of conceptual question and theoretical as we have, like some of the questions from semiconductor, conductor and insulators. Next questions like p-type, n-type material, and also intrinsic, extrinsic semiconductor. Next p-n junction diode, and the special purpose diode that you have to study, and in that special purpose diode why some of the conditions we are using. So based on that, conceptual problems and theoretical problems both are here. So we will discuss that one by one in this chapter. So as a first question from here, I am only going to take the question that is asked, and after that we will discuss the things with the help of that. So first question is that categorized the material with the help of free electron model and with the help of band theory. So here number of ways in which you can categorize semiconductor, conductor and insulators. So here two models that we have, it is mentioned in question. So first model we have, that is free electron model. So in case of free electron model, we take that the outermost orbit has the electron that is known as valence electron. They are free to move within the surface as they are loosely bounded by the nucleus. So due to less attractive force they can move within the surface, but they cannot leave the surface, only they can move within the surface, just like the gaseous molecules move when they are enclosed in any container. So this is that moving electron, that valence electron is known as free electron. Clear? So this is the free electron model, free electron picture of the solids. So we have to use that picture here to understand the classification of material. So first, as in conductors, we know that those materials are called conductor, in which we have large number of free electrons. Means simple, in another way, the material in which conduction can be easily possible, and you know that for the conduction we need charge carrier. Greater will be the charge carrier, greater will be the energy carried by them, greater will be the conduction by them. So simple here, in the case of conductor, number of electrons are very greater. Second things, we have insulator. So here I am only talking about the free electron model. After that we will discuss band model. Simple. Secondly, as in case of insulators, no conduction we are getting, or very few amount of conductions there we are getting. Either we are talking about the electricity, or we are talking about the thermal conduction. In both of the cases, insulators we have like the zero conduction condition, means they don't like to transfer energy from one place to another, means they don't have any kind of charge carrier which can carry the energy. So simple, in the material in which free electrons are very less or they are not available, then that is known as insulators. Third type of material we have, that is semiconductor material. So semiconductor materials are basically those materials which has electrons greater than the insulator but less than the conductor. Then you can see that here a large amount of conduction is not possible, but still the conduction in a limited way, that is possible here. Even variation in the conduction we can get in the case of semiconductor. So this is a pre-electron model to classify the material. The next model we have, that is band picture or band model. So as we know that the energy of any any atom, any orbit, that can be represented by a band. Here I am not going to again start how we will get bands here. Directly I am going to use band picture, as you have just understood the concept in the case of chemistry where you are studying valence band model. So with the help of that you can understand it, how the valence how the bands are formed in the case of any material. So simple, as we can represent different orbits with the help of band picture. Like suppose if you don't understand, then let's take the example of sodium. So in the case of sodium, as here it has 11 number of electrons, and if you will do electronic configuration, then last orbit directly I am going to take it. So this is 3s1, and before it all the orbit has fulfilled electrons, and after that we will get 4s, 3p, 4p, 3d, and so on, number of excited levels that are empty here. So here we can see that this is the valence electron that will be responsible for the conduction, that will be responsible for the energy propagation. So it means that this will and also the electrons below this level, like 2p electron, 2s electron, 1s electron, these all will be responsible or their electrons, if they will get energy, sufficient energy, they will excite to any of this excited level. From Bohr model you have understood already this thing. Whenever any electron will get sufficient energy to excite from here, then definitely if it will get greater energy, it will go in any of its excited states. So simple, all these electrons in normal state until electrons are filled here, we can represent it by a band here. Means if you all the electrons, like from 1s to 3s, all electrons we can represent here. So that is known as valence band. So in this valence band, electrons are free to exist anywhere. Clear? Simple, as different levels have different energies. So if you will just write down all the energies, then this will provide you the band. In the same way, we have differently excited states here, 4p, 3p, 4s, 4, and so on. So all these states, obviously you know that between two levels there are some space, and that limitation is given by Bohr model, you know that already that. So it means that if suppose second level means after 3s, if 3p is here, and again all these states are defined, then you can see that suppose this is represented the excited state here, means this whole of the band is excited state. This is valence band, means in which electron exists, in which electron at normal temperature, in normal condition, obviously you know that electron has tendency to be in equilibrium state, its normal state, it's be in its ground state. So obviously that will be always lie in the valence band, and whenever it will get any energy from the outside, it will excite to this excited state, and this excited state we know that conduction band. Why its name is conduction band? As whenever electron is excited from here, it means that it is carrying energy, and that time whenever electron will carry the energy, we can call that now conduction process is progressing on. So that's why it is called conduction band. So if electron will get energy from here, then if it will go from here to here, we can say that conduction is going on here. Clear? So and this gap between this valence band and conduction band, as there is no electron that is possible according to Bohr model, then this is known as forbidden gap again. Clear? So this is forbidden energy gap, this is conduction band, this is valence band. So this is the band picture of solid. Now how can we categorize material based on this? So first we have semiconductor material. So in the case of semiconductor material, as we have just understood, in which free electron or large number of free electrons should be there, means the conduction should be at the large scale. So if conduction will be at the large scale, means most of the electrons are here, that will present here, that will easily go here. So if greater number of electrons will reach in the conduction band easily, then that time it is known as conductor. And also whenever electron will reach here very efficiently, then we can say that this forbidden energy band gap is very small, means if we will provide only small energy to the conductor, electron can easily go to the conduction band. So if we have to make this picture for the conductor, then near what for the conductor, this is valence band, this is conduction band. This gap is very small, electron will need very small energy that can be go into the conduction band for the conduction. Clear? So conductivity of basically conductors are very high and their forbidden energy band gap is very small. Second classification here, insulator. So as in the case of insulator, if we will provide a large amount of energy, after that we are getting only few electrons, means either they are fulfilled or self they have, or half-filled self they have. So we need to provide a large number of electrons to for the removal of electrons from there. So in that case, obviously we can understand from here, it means forbidden energy gap is very large, means electron is needing a large amount of energy. So if you have to represent insulator by band picture, so if this is conduction band, something here, this is valence band. So there a large amount of energy is needed to cross this forbidden energy band gap. This is the band picture of insulator. Next, third band picture that we have for the semiconductor. So simple for semiconductor material, as there is some of the conduction that is possible, means its forbidden energy band gap is less than insulator but greater than conductor. So if you have to just draw it, then this is nearly just like this. So this is less than this but greater than this. Nearly this forbidden energy band gap is equal to 0.1 electron volt to 5 electron volt, depending on the different material. Clear? So this is basic band picture and free electron model for semiconductor, insulator and conductor material. Next question here, that is what is extrinsic and intrinsic semiconductor and what is p-n junction diode. Clear? So as in this chapter we will discuss only about the semiconductor material, and why we will discuss it, we have discussed number of times that in the classes. So here I am not going to take that again, that will kill only the time. So here extrinsic semiconductor, basically semiconductor materials are of two types. First is pure semiconductor or intrinsic semiconductor. So all the fourth group elements except some of the elements, those have 4 electrons in their outer subshell. So obviously those 4 electrons can be free easily, or they are just free to make the covalent bonds. So that time they are just behaving like the semiconductor material, means there are number of electrons are available also, but it's not easy to make them free also. So basic these are called the pure semiconductor or intrinsic semiconductor. And extrinsic semiconductor are those material in which if we will just add some of the impurities from the outside in that pure semiconductor, then some production of holes and electrons we are getting, and according to that 2 types of extrinsic semiconductors we are getting, that is called p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. So in the case of first p-type semiconductor, to make it we add trivalent impurities to the fourth group elements. So suppose for fourth group element, as you know and we have discussed already, silicon and germanium are best for to make any semiconductor devices here. So if we are taking just germanium here, there are 4 electrons germanium in the outer shell of germanium, and if any trivalent atom that we are adding to it, like aluminium and such types of material we are adding, then in that case if 3 electrons will make covalent bond with the 3 electron of germanium. and here one vacancy will be created. Means this vacancy shows that it needs an electron. There is a deficiency of electron that is created. So this vacancy, this deficiency or this hole, this is called hole. That is a hole which is needed an electron. So simple here, hole is nothing, that is a deficiency of electron. Whenever it will get any electron from the outside, that time here its octant will be completed. So simply this vacancy has the tendency to receive an electron from the outside to complete its octant. So that's why it behaves like the positive charge carrier. So here first in the case of the doping of trivalent impurities in fourth group, we are getting a positive charge carrier here, that is called hole, and its tendency is just like the simple any of the positive carrier. So if you have to represent it with the symbol, so I just told you whenever this vacancy is here, then that time as a whole this atom is called acceptor atom, as it has tendency to accept the electrons, and acceptor atom is represented by this way. And here with this acceptor atom, as a whole is associated with it, so we can represent this whole of the system as this. And whenever any electron that will occupy this position of the hole, then that time its octant will be completed. Means whenever this hole will be neutralized by any electron, then that time this converted into ion. So this is acceptor atom, this is acceptor ion, and this types of material is known as p-type semiconductor material. Second case we have, we can add the fifth group impurities in fourth group element. So in that case, if we will add fifth group impurity, means 4 electron of germanium are here, and we are adding pentavalent in this. So as pentavalent atom has 5 electron in its outermost orbit, so 4 electron will make covalent bond with the germanium electron, and they will complete its octant. 1 electron is an extra electron that is free, but it is loosely bounded to the germanium nucleus here. So whenever it will get some a little amount of energy from the outside, that time it will be free from here. So here we are seeing an extra additional electron or negative charge carrier that is produced in the system due to doping process, due to mixing process of trivalent or pentavalent atom in any fourth group element. So this, obviously this is electron, this is negative charge carrier. So whole of the atom is known as it has tendency to complete its octant and it has extra electron, then it will try to donate that electron. So it is called donor atom. So donor atom is represented by this, and an electron is associated with it. Whenever this electron will be donated somewhere, so this will be converted into this way, and this is called donor ion, this is called donor atom. So these are the symbols in which you can just remind all the semiconductor materials easily. And these two semiconductor materials that we are just forming by the doping process, that are called extrinsic semiconductor material. Next here, what is p-n junction diode? So whenever p and n type material are joined together, then that time the formation, the construction is known as p-n junction diode, and we form them by some of the processes. So here you don't have to just study that process here, but still you cannot put them contact with the simply we cannot put them into contact. So some of the conceptual problem here also based on this. Can we put one p-type and n-type material simply, means like if we have two blocks we are joining that, so in that way can we join p or n-type material? But no, we cannot join that time, because in that way there will be irregularity on the ending. So that's why due to that irregularity there will be the effect on the conduction. So we don't or we cannot put them simply in contact with our own hand. So simple, we just adopt some of the processes there, and with that process we are making p-n junction diode. So in case of p-n junction diode, in a single device we have both types of material, means here p-type material, n-type material, we have just joined it. So obviously in case of p-type material, as told you, it has acceptor atoms with a hole associated with it. So let's just make it by this figure, and this is donor atom, an electron is associated with it. Number of times I just told you, just rewind this figure. This will help you a lot to understand all the semiconductor material here. So here, whenever these two p and n type material will put together, then that time one question is also asked in your examination, how the depletion region is formed. So as whenever we will put it together, then that time obviously this electron will have tendency to occupy this deficiency, this hole, and for that it will start to move through this side, and it will cross the junction and it will occupy this position of the hole. So whenever it will occupy this position of hole, then that time these atoms will be converted into ions. And now you will know that ions are immobile, so that's why these ions will be accumulated at the junction. And again, after accumulation, these ions will now start to repel other electrons for the further movement. Like this negative ion will repel this negative electron to move there. So that's why no further recombination will take place, no further conduction will take place. So in starting, whenever we put p and n type metal together, then that time some of the currents we are getting there, but after that no current we are getting due to this reason, due to depletion of these ions at the junction. So the reason in which these ions are depleted, that reason is known as depletion reason. So I think how the depletion reason is formed, that is clear. So simple, if this is the reason to which these ions are depleted, so this reason is known as depletion reason, or another name it has, that is space charge reason. So these charges are also called, these ions are also called space charges. Clear? Next here, one more question it is asked, 1 mark, 2 mark question I am just taking about here with the help of a particular figure. So all the question I have just summarized here. So 2 marks question also here, that is how the potential barrier is formed here. So potential barrier means some of the potential is generated at the junction here. So as you can see that this is just like two plates, and here positive carriers, negative carriers are accumulated on that plate, then definitely there will be a potential difference created on that two plates. So here negative potential and positive potential is created, due to that a potential voltage is generated in the junction. That voltage is known as junction potential or potential barrier. Clear? And now this potential barrier has tendencies to oppose the further movement of any kind of charge carriers through here. Now we have just made a device, and this is depleted, and now no current we are getting. Then how can we use it for the conduction, as we have made it for the conduction here? So in that case, next question is here, what is forward and reverse biasing, and draw its characteristics. So here as to remove this depletion reason, we can just use the outer or external energy here. So here in this case, external energy we are using in PN junction diode, that is electricity. So to add any external energy to this PN junction diode is known as biasing of the diode here. So simple means we are adding any supply here, that is called biased PN junction diode. So we can do biasing in two ways, like we can add the positive terminal of the battery to P side, negative terminal of the battery to N side. Then that time, such types of biasing is known as forward biasing. And if we will add or connect P type to negative terminal of the battery and N type to positive terminal of battery, then that time it is called reverse biasing. Simple, let's talk about first forward biasing. Number of methods we have just talked here, and if you are in which one you are comfortable, you can take to understand the forward or reverse biasing. So very simple method I will take here, again to only to remind you. So in the case of, whenever we will add in case of forward biasing the positive and negative terminal of the battery in this way, then that time this positive terminal will start to repel these holes, and this negative terminal will start to repel these electrons, and due to repulsion this electron will start to move in this side, means they are starting to move towards the junction. And if we will increase this potential here, then with increase in that potential, obviously this electron will get more repulsive power, then this will and due to that they will penetrate in the junction, penetrate in this depletion region, and due to that you can say that depletion region starts to be narrower, and finally if at a certain potential they can cross the junction easily and they can recombine again, current can be obtained through this process.